Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline and my today's guest is, guess who it is? It is Milan Schwarzkopf, and you have to teach me how to pronounce your name. Other than that.
You have pronounced it perfectly.
Oh my goodness, really? It was the first try. Okay, I would like to introduce you to the audience real quick. You are #1 purposeful retirement expert. You teach how to best arrange and live through retirement. You focus on multiple areas of life: finance, health, relationships, life purpose. And you teach people to retire with no fear of how they will transit into their third act of life. And I love that expression. If you are thinking about retirement, planning for retirement, or are already in retirement, then you may find your Patreon page helpful. You have to tell us about that more. You will get bonus tools enabling you to enjoy the last decades as best years of your life. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, Milan Schwarzkopf.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So great that you said yes to our episode. Of course, I have a first question for you. Your approach to retirement emphasizes not just financial security, but also health, relationships, and life purpose. How do you help individuals balance these different aspects to create a fulfilling and well-rounded retirement experience?
You know, when thinking about retirement, most people are thinking about financials first. And I admire it is very important. In my view, preparing for retirement financially takes at least 15 to 20 years, so it's pretty important to start early enough.
Okay.
But money itself cannot make you happy. Even if you manage to save enough money, if you are not healthy, or you have bad or non-existent relationships, and are not clear on your new life mission and purpose in retirement, you will struggle. You probably are in your second act. You are working and fully engaged in making money and completing your career, while also aware that your third act will come one day. Job functions and titles often shape how people are perceived by themselves and others, having job as the only meaning of life. For people who define themselves primarily through their jobs, losing work or retiring is a serious problem. I know it, I have experienced it myself. Sooner rather than later, you should positively redefine who you are. I am also teaching people how to prevent them from getting stuck in a mode which I call pending life purpose. Good relationships matter too. Close relationships protect people from life dissatisfaction, help delay mental and physical decline, and bring a long and happy life more reliably than social status, IQ, financial situation, or even genes. So that's why my retirement planning consists of 4 main pillars: finance, health, relationships, and new life purpose not dependent on work anymore.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I understand it better. And I was a little bit afraid or scared when you said it takes, I have to laugh because or cry, it takes 15 to 20 years, or you should start 20 years before you have your third act, how you call it, right? And because I think I'm in that age when I have to think about that, and I didn't think about it. Yeah, I did this years ago, but then, you forget about it. You forget, and then so my next question would be, what do you say to someone who is now 20 years before retirement? What would be the first step?
I would say first realize the importance of this topic. Most people somehow feel This is important, but because it is generally not urgent, people generally neglect this topic.
Yeah.
So first realize it, then you must, I would say you should think about sacrificing some of the short-term benefits for long-term benefits, because generally you can expect to live 20, 30, if you are healthy, even more years in retirement, and nearly no one is preparing. We have been studying and improving our knowledge. The first 20, 25 years we have visited schools and so on. Then we have been working for another 20, 30, 35 years. You can expect to spend 20, 30 or more years in retirement and nobody is preparing. So the first step is to realize the importance of this topic. The other pillars can be started anytime. You can improve your relationships. You can improve your health anytime. You can redefine or find a new purpose of your life anytime, even before the retirement or during the retirement. But financial preparation takes decades. I don't have a magic wand. I can't make you a millionaire within 1, 2, 3 years.
Yes, I see what you mean. And I loved how you emphasized the word pending life purpose earlier, because it's so important to do it now, let's say to do now, to care for your relationships and your health in time before the third act appears, right? And I have another question for you. It is, yeah, many people fear the transition into retirement, particularly regarding the loss of identity or purpose. You mentioned this. What strategies do you suggest for those struggling with these concerns to ensure their third act of life is meaningful and rewarding?
The answer is not a simple one. First of all, I can confirm from my experience, the more you had your life purpose based on your work, the harder the transition to the third act is. We can all see people around us who continue to work, not because they need the money, but because they don't know what else they should do. Transition to retirement is not a simple task. It can be done, but you should prepare for it. You should improve your knowledge. You should read something, for instance, my book. You probably may want to hire a good coach who can help you. And good news is it's never too late. But if you lose your purpose in retirement, it can be very dangerous. Some people say once the coach, TV, and refrigerator become your best friends, you are on the quick run to grave.
Yes, that's so true. And I remember the Bible verse saying, without vision, people perish, right? This is what you describe here. When you don't have a purpose, you don't know what you are living for, then and many people, they just die after retirement because they don't have the purpose, or as you said, they identified only with their work and therefore also with the money, because work means money. And if they don't prepare for retirement and they don't have much money, let's say, then they cannot do the beautiful things they imagined earlier, for example, traveling, or I don't know what, eating out, or having the best time of their lives, you know. Let's take a look at the next question. In your experience, what are the most common misconceptions people have about retirement, and how do you work to dispel these myths through your teachings and resources?
I have already mentioned that you can expect to live 20, 30, maybe 40 years longer than you have expected. The average life expectancy in this century will increase by 10 to 20 years. The aging population is dramatically increasing. By the year 2030, 20% of the US population will be older than 65 years, and nearly nobody is preparing for this longer retirement time. In my view, this is a pitfall number one. Second pitfall, retirement preparation is just about money. That's not true. Third one, transition to retirement will be very pleasant. I will not have to work, deal with my boss, wake up early, or have any stress. I will have time for my hobbies, travel, garden, and children. Why should I worry at all now? Again, one of the most common pitfalls. Another one is planning for retirement is difficult. Again, it does not have to be difficult if you know the process, if you prepare for it, if you increase your knowledge.
Yes.
Another pitfall is underestimating how differences in approach increase over time. I would use a quote. Just a second.
I love quotes.
From Bill Gates. People overestimate what they can do in a year, but tend to underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. Back to pitfalls, another one I would say is not building social contacts outside of work. And the last one possibly is having work as main part or all of your identity.
Yes, absolutely. I understand, and I'm a little bit speechless because this is so true. It's like when you are showing us the mirror here, what we didn't do, and this is so true. You are focused on your work because maybe most of the people don't have time for other hobbies or other people than work people. Sometimes they spend their free time even with their colleagues, you know, and then they are no longer there when they retire, and then they get depressed, something like that. Okay, let's take a look at the next question. You offer tools and guidance through your Patreon page to help people enjoy their retirement years to the fullest. Can you share some of the most impactful tools or strategies you've developed and how they have transformed the retirement experience for your followers?
I have basically several chapters in my book. The introductory chapters are devoted to the importance of this topic. And then I have 4 main chapters, each one for the main pillar, for the one of the 4 main pillars: finance, health, relationships and social, and finding a new purpose. So you can find many templates, many guidance, many action steps, many homework in the book. I cannot summarize that within 1 or 2 sentences. But I am sharing some freebies. I can send you a link to these freebies. More freebies can be found on my webpage. And if you buy the book, you will get an access to another webpage where there are many other templates, freebies, checklists, and so on.
Oh, this is so good. Thank you so much for sharing. Of course, we will put your homepage, your websites, your links in the show notes to this podcast. Thank you so much for saying yes. Okay. You talked about purpose, right? It is important to have a purpose. So what is what is your purpose? Of course, making people aware of retirement plans, but one of your goals for retirement, what is it? Is it another book, for example?
Generally, besides improving my relationships, both with my best half, both with my children, travel, I discovered that many people find a new purpose in helping others. It was my case as well. So while preparing for retirement, studying many books, watching many webinars, preparing for about 3 years, I have gradually discovered that my knowledge is so vast that it is not described in this complexity anywhere else. At least I did not find any other similar book. So I decided it is part of my purpose or responsibility to hand over this knowledge and this experience. So I have written a book which became a bestseller last month, and I am now planning to complete my course and publish it. And in parallel with that, I am offering one-to-one coaching to anyone who wants to go into more detail than I was able to fit in the book.
Thank you so much for sharing. This is great. Please reach out to Milan. He's amazing. And of course, we take a look at your book, into your book, of course. There will be the link as well. And now is time for your last thoughts to the audience, please.
So if you want to retire well and have the last 20, 30 or 40 years of your life, the best part of your life, it is possible if you prepare correctly. So take at least some steps. Have the moment of retirement well calculated. Realize the retirement is not just about money. Think about suitable housing. Think about a suitable retirement mobility solution. To what extent do you want to contribute to the financial security of your children? Increase your qualifications. Define what measures of physical, mental, social, lifestyle, and financial fitness would you like to have in your retirement years? And what are you doing about it today? Take special care of yourself as no one else will. You are responsible for your health. Your doctors, your hospital, your health insurance policy, none of them can do even 100th as much as you can. Choose what information to let in. Choose the people around you. Continuous learning and network building. Create a more complete plan. Have vision, discipline, and consistency. Read. Have a coach. Learn to make short-term sacrifices for long-term benefits. Have discipline. Discipline is your overall ability to take specific actions that lead to the fulfillment of your personal vision. Create new habits. Remember that daily habits create destiny. You are responsible. You can choose to change your mind. You can decide to change your approach. My book and coaching should help. May I use another 3 quotes?
Of course.
Sam Levinson, you must learn from the mistakes of others. You can't possibly live long enough to make them all yourself.
No.
Richard Bach, you are never given a dream without also being given the power to make it true. Michael J. Camus, those who do not think about the future cannot have one. Thank you.
This was so good. Thank you so much. I'm speechless, and I see you in the next episode.